This is the book of First Esdras 4 verse 38. As for the truth, it endureth, and is always strong. It liveth and conquereth forevermore.
And you learn things like the Constitution, you learn about warrants, you learn about things of that nature, and what we're getting right now is violating all that, what kids are being taught. You want to know something? I'll give you a quote. We're a third world country now. You want to know why? I'm an expert. I've been to them. I'll give you a quote. We're a third world country now. You want to know why? I'm an expert. I've been to them. I spent 17 months in Southeast Asia while the draft dodger was playing golf, right? You know how I know we're a third world country? Because in third world countries, they have the military doing their police work in the cities when you walk around. I was in the Philippines the day Ferdinand Marcos declared martial law and went under dictatorship. We went from nobody to a guy with a machine gun on every corner. That's what happens in a dictatorship. In comes the military. That's what's happening here. And people better wake up to it. You want to read something? Then read your history of Germany and start comparing the buddy to a guy with a machine gun on every corner. That's what happens in a...
Alright, inshallah, wa mtunzi bisharallah, call Yamla, Allahayanawa, Abanawa, Yahawa, Bahasham, Yahawashai, Bahasham Rakaha, Kodash. My name is Gabaga of the Hopeful Election, and today is Tuesday, January the 20th, another day closer to the deliverance of the elect of Israel and the destruction of Babylon the Great. And any day now, all hell could break loose in this society. Alright, as we head into a time known as Jacob trouble. Alright, and I want to say, let the elders to rule become worthy of the honors, especially they who labor in the word and doctrine, which are the Presbyterian of Great Millstone, beginning with the elder apostles, the elder bishops, and the elders on down. Peace and salutation to all the Akim of the hopeful elect. May Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai Bashmukar Kudash Barakatham to the elect out there. So going into it, once again, this is the book of First Esdras 4 verse 38, and it reads, as for truth, it endureth, and is always strong. It liveth and conquereth forevermore. That's right. Ultimately, that's what these people are having to deal with. Okay, you Babylonians, okay, you Egyptians, you Americans are having to face the truth. Okay, the reality of what it is. The fact that your government, all right, first of all, if you go into the word government, it literally means mind control. Government is a compound word which govern means to control and ment means your mind. Right, so your government is mind controlling you. All right, so that's the truth. Okay, so you Americans, you've been fed a lie your whole lives, thinking that America is the home of the brave and strong. Okay, peace and prosperity lives, the land of the free. All right, the land of opportunity. But that was a lie. That was a complete fabrication. This has only been an experiment. All right, now so now you're finding out the truth. The fact of the matter is that your government does not really care about you, and really your government considers you as enemy combatants. All right, so the government, that's why ultimately they are deploying all these ICE agents, and they're not really they're not discriminating. They're not discriminating. If you're a so-called American citizen, or if you're not, if you're so-called if you look white or not. But for the most part, you can see they're coming against the tribes. All right, they even made a statement that they're trying to come against they're coming against the Native Americans, the natives of Minnesota in Minneapolis. And so we're gonna send these native people to where are you going to send them to, knowing that they're actually native to this country, to America. Okay, but the fact of the matter is that the truth is coming out. The fact of the matter is that we've been telling you that the so-called white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. That he's wicked, that he is evil, that he hates you, all right, and that he has these plans to ultimately put you in perpetual slavery. Okay, but people are now having to face the truth. This is what we've been telling you from the beginning, from when the pastors and elders of Great Millstone came on the scene. Okay, we've been screaming on the housetops to let you know that your government, okay, the people that are in power are wicked and they're evil. Okay, and that they only want you to they only want you subjected, okay, without having any rights, okay, privileges. That's why ultimately they're taking away your rights and privileges slowly but surely. You see, now you're taking away your right to protest in the streets. You're going to take away your right to vote. Okay, all these things that you think that you had, that were man-made. Okay, they're going to be taken away. They're going to be left with nothing. But this is the truth, man. This is the truth that people are dealing with. All right. And so ultimately, the fact of the matter is, America was established, through slavery, okay, through massacre, and ultimately, through bloodshed, right? And that's how it has been in power from ever since it was created. Okay, America has plundered other places. It has gone to other countries, and taken away the resources. Okay, that's why even this guy right here, is just Ventura. He said, he used to be he's part of the military, and he knows a third world country when he sees one, because that's what they've been doing. Okay, they go to all these countries, like he mentioned, the Philippines. Okay, that he went there. Okay, so they go to all these countries, and they do reconnaissance. Okay, in these missions, and then they come in and ultimately, destabilize these countries. And now, the fact of the matter is that the truth is coming to bite you, because this is tells you what goes around comes around. So you Americans, you thought that you're good, basically, you saw what your government was doing around the world. They saw how they were going to other people's lands, okay, and conquering them, but you thought that would never happen to you. But you're living a lie. The truth is now in your face. Okay, you can't deny it. You see? So let's go ahead and get that scripture that actually, they're talking about. I quoted. Right? This is the book of Isaiah 33. 33, let's see. Isaiah 33 verse 1, and it reads, "Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou was not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee." And that's what America was, America has been doing. America has been spoiling all these other countries by going to their, by basically setting up, bases, okay, and military bases, and embassies all over the world, okay, and always in other people's backyard, okay, sticking its nose in other people's business, in other countries' businesses, okay, to trade with them, so to speak, to bring them their democracy, okay, and all these other, Western civilization, okay. That's what America has been doing, and it does that, by coming in, okay, stabilizing the country. They might send in, jackals to take out certain government leaders, all right, and then once they do that, they bring in the puppets, all right, they have it to where the military comes in and they control all the American interest. America has its interest in all these countries, okay, and it's all through coercion, it's all through force. Okay, it's not a fair trade, it's not a fair deal. So now you see them, what they did over there in Venezuela. Okay, that's apparent, all right. And they've been doing this all over Latin America, from going back. Okay. Same thing, they go to these, into these poor countries, so to speak, but then they take away the resources. See what happened over there in Rwanda, okay, in a genocide, that was all to basically control, the mining over there in the Congo. Okay. That's what they did. You had, at the time, you had Bill Clinton, and his wife, the Clintons, they came in and they literally destroyed, those regions, Rwanda, okay, Congo, even Uganda. Okay, see, so what they've been doing to Haiti, all right, and all over the world, man. So ultimately, Americans has been spoiling other lands, but now, things are turning back on your head. Things are coming back, on your own pit, as it tells you in scriptures. It says, "Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou was not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee." Right? And there's no country really, that has defrauded America as America has defrauded other countries. You see, when thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. And that's what it's happening. So now that America, has gone through the whole world, conquering, okay, and taking plunder, taking booty. Now, the chickens coming home to roost. Now you have these, these military men in the American streets, and now they're coming in to take away what's left, which is the American citizen. That's the last frontier. Okay, the American citizen is the last frontier. You see, so this whole time, you're really being beefed up. Okay, you're being fattened up for the slaughter. You see, they gave you all these rights. They made you feel like you were, like you're free, and okay, you had rights, you had freedoms, so you're puffed up, but now they come and take those away for you Americans, man. Thou shalt be spoiled, and when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. That's right. That's what Americans. That's what's happening right now. Americans, you're suffering the effect of what your country has been doing to other countries, from ever since. You see, get this right here, quick.
As protests continue on the streets of Minneapolis, a U.S. judge says that federal agents can't use tear gas, pepper spray, or other munitions for crowd control against peaceful demonstrators or those observing and recording ICE agents. This case was filed last month as thousands of ICE officers.
So as you can see, you would think these are a third world country, because that's what American. You watch the news and see these kind of images, you always associate them with a third world country, but this is in America, man. You see, and now even with the thing that the judge said, the ICE are not supposed to detain people with tear gas, but the ICE agents, they're bypassing, the judge. They've been given full immunity, right? So therefore, this is that. In the book of 2 Ezra, 16th chapter, they shall come down. They shall be as madmen, sparing none. So that's what it is, man. So this is them spoiling Americans.
Descended on Minneapolis. Protests erupted weeks before an ICE officer shot and killed 37-year-old Renee Good. This was filed on behalf of 6 protesters who say that their rights had been infringed upon. Now, in the 83-page order from U.S. District Judge Kate Menendez, she says protesters are within their rights as long as they are not being violent or obstructing officers. Lawyers for the federal government say that officers have been just trying to do their job and protect themselves. Menendez wrote the government failed to explain why force was necessary.
Yep, let's get this as well. A second. Yeah, it's the book of Isaiah 47 verse 1. Okay, so America, they thought that, they were untouchable, that they were going to continue on, being the land of the free, the land of the brave, and the land of opportunity. Okay, but all that has changed within the past year, within the past 5 years, really. It says, Isaiah 47 verse 1 says, come down and sit in the dust. Okay, that represents confusion, all right? Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. These people, these Americans, they're confused. They can't believe this is a country that they grew up in. Can't believe this is a country that, they were taught, that was the best country in the world. So that's a confusion, man. That's a dust. The virgin daughter of Babylon. Okay, virgin basically means untouched, and someone that has been left, untouched, right? And that's how America has it. America's been untouched. America has been that place, that has gone, it's like 50-0, right? No casualties, I want to say basically like no injuries, right? It says, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. It basically means a low place. And America is feeling their burnt right now. These Americans, they're feeling, that bite. And not being able to, afford the lifestyles, right? There is no throne, daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. That's right. And that's ultimately what the world is seeing you as. The world, before, they saw America as being that place, that was, to look up to. But now, they're looking at you with that side eye. You're being seen as a third world country. Says, take the millstone and grind meal, and cover their locks, make bare the leg, and cover their thigh, pass over the rivers. All right, this basically goes into these America itself being exposed. Okay, for one, for its crimes. Okay, how it deals, it does these backhand deals. All right, and ultimately how it profits from defrauding others. Right, that's Trump is doing that beautifully, man. Says verse 3, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, thy shame shall be seen. right? I will take vengeance and I will not meet thee as a man. That's right. So the Most High, is ultimately, exposing this place, to the prophets. Okay, you have all these so-called truthers, and they're bringing out, what these politicians are really doing. Okay, they expose, how basically, they don't really give out the real news. Okay, they have this, this campaign to distract people. Okay, through their media, okay, through their sports and entertainment. Okay, all this is coming out, right? So the nakedness shall be uncovered, the sins and wickedness of America are being revealed. That's right. Or let me thee as a man. The last time Yahweh Shai was on the scene, he came as a man and was killed. This time around, he's coming as a power. That's right. Our Lord Yahweh Shai, the Messiah, okay, whom the world calls JC, is coming back, with an angelic force, coming back to destroy, the wicked of our people, and the wicked himself, ultimately to deliver the light of Israel, right? So, jump to verse 7. Verse 8 says, Therefore hear now this that are given to pleasures, that thou dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. That's America, man. That's American, that's American pride. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I see. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. You see, that's how these Americans feel. Okay, but guess what? Moses is gonna change that. Next verse says, But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and the widowhood, that shall come upon thee in the perfection, for the multitude of their sorceries, right? Ultimately, that's going to happen when the ICBM missiles get shot up upon America. Okay, when Russia, China, Iran, and all these other countries that have nuclear capabilities, they're going to shoot their missiles upon America and to destroy it. It's going to be a nuclear war, the Third World War, which also is in the scriptures, right? It says, and their widowhood, they shall come upon thee in the perfection, for the multitude of their sorceries. That goes into the philosophies, okay, all the wickedness and the lies that America pushes through its philosophies, okay, its lifestyle, the thing that they promote, all right, which is basically their alternative lifestyle, and basically rebelling against the Heavenly Father. Okay, it's in their schools, it's in their religions, it's in their politics, it's everywhere. You see, it's in media. It says, they shall come upon thee in the perfection, for the multitude of their sorceries and for the great abundance of their enchantments. That's right. You see, one day America will be destroyed in 1 hour. That's right. Perfection. Each of the missiles that will bring the destruction will hit the target in perfection. That's right. You see, so ultimately, this is only the beginning of it, man. There's more to come. There's more to be unraveled. You see, even although Yahweh Shai said, if you have faith as a faith of the size of a mustard seed, you should say to this mountain, go over yonder and be cast into the sea. Ultimately, that's what we've been doing. We've been telling this mountain, which the mountain represents an empire. We should go ahead and get that scripture, man. In this book of Matthew 17, verse 20, and it reads, And Yahushua said unto them, Because of your unbelief, for verily I say unto you, if ye have faith as a grain of a mustard seed, and that's very small. I was actually looking up. The size to it is literally like it's small, smaller than it's very small, man. You should look it up. It's a small seed. It's small even than an apple seed, smaller than a rice. If you have faith as the grain of a mustard seed, you shall say unto this mountain. The mountain represents government, okay, which is the American empire. It says, you shall say unto this mountain, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. That's right. So that's ultimately what you see. Okay, the men of the Lord have been, we've been out there, okay, in wicked look out, okay, prophesying against this mountain, against America, and now look at what's happening. Okay, this is our words literally moving mountains. Okay, these words of Yahweh Shai, this prayer power of Yahweh Shai, Kodash, America is being destroyed. And it's all through the men of the Lord, the prophets, man. He's the one that's bringing that fire, that's bringing that sword to cut asunder. Okay, bone and marrow. You see, to let this bitch, burn. You see. So anyway, America is finished. Okay, the Western civilization is over. Okay, your time is up, Esau. Your time is up, man. This is your last hurrah. Okay. So then I'm going to say Barata Yahweh, Barata Yahushai. Say Kwame Sharwallah, Wa Abad Babal, Shalom Yiled, Shalom Akim.